Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Masks Off. I'm Kim, and I'm so excited to be here today. I have a special guest with me. I have Ebony Moore, who I'm so excited to have another conversation with you. We just recently had one on your podcast, and now we're swapping. So I'm so excited. And as always, I'm going to begin with a quote, and the quote is actually Ebony's quote. So it is, if you don't do you, then you won't be done. Like, I love it. So before you introduce yourself to everybody, say in your words, what does that quote mean to you? And how did you start using that quote?
Well, hey, Kim, back at you. So excited to be here as well. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm super excited about this. And my quote is, in my words, it means you can't be duplicated. Everything that you want to bring to this world, nobody else can do it but you. Nobody else can put a spin on it. Nobody else can do it in the style that you're going to do it. So if you don't do you, then you won't be done. So all those dreams and all that enthusiasm behind all of your goals, the extra spice that we put on things, nobody else can do it. Nobody else can wear our hair like us. Nobody else can look like us. So therefore, everything that you want to bring to this world, nobody else can do it like you would do it. So that's how it goes.
And I love that, because I actually, and we can talk about this more later after you introduce yourself, is the comparison mask, right? We can often compare ourselves to one another. And I can sometimes fall into that trap when I see how many people are talking about the same thing, online, coaching about the same things online. And I'm like, oh, how am I going to make my mark in the world? There's a million people trying to say and do the same thing. However, if I go back to you and your quote, even if I'm talking about teaching or preaching the same kind of message someone else is, I'm going to have my own spin because of my own experience. Right? Is that what you're saying?
That's it. Definitely. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. So tell us who you are.
Okay. So I am a mother of 4 kids. They are 13, 14, 15, and 16. I have a husband. We've been married for 17 years. And 2 years ago, I started a modeling studio here in Chattanooga, and we do modeling, acting, body arts, and makeup classes. And we do that once a week. We have like annual fashion shows. We have showcases. Apart from that, I also do confidence coaching, which definitely coincides with my studio, because what modeling is all about, confidence. So I do that as well, confidence building for women of all ages, all walks of life. Either in whatever stage of life you're in, there's always a part of our lives that we can use confidence in. And I think we lose that at some point down that road of womanhood. And I also do podcasting. My podcast is called Bosswife.live, and that hits the air every Tuesday. And I am also a certified medical assistant, and I work at a hospital here in Chattanooga full time.
Wow, that's a lot. You're so busy, but it's so impressive. You're welcome. I want to start with one thing that you just said. You said that women can have confidence, and then we lose it somewhere along the way. Say more about that.
So I'll use myself as an example. I modeled from 14 to like 19 until I got married. And my mom put me in modeling to build my confidence, because I was a very shy, very timid little girl. And so she put me in modeling to build my confidence and to have my own personality, just to be my own person. And I got married at 19. We started our family immediately after that. And then I lost all my confidence because my first 2 are 9 months apart. So my body definitely didn't have time to bounce back. And then my second 2 are 13 months apart. And so it was kind of like my body went into this total shock. And it was like, okay, everything you just gained, we're keeping. So, and then I was a stay-at-home mom, because it definitely didn't make sense for me to work. And I had stair steps, So I was a stay-at-home mom. My body looked totally different. I was in a totally different headspace. And I lost all my confidence in who I was. Like, I completely lost myself. I won't say I lost myself. I misplaced who I was. Like, I didn't lose my identity. I just totally forgot who that person was. And I allowed myself to get lost in my now, in my today. And I didn't realize that my today wasn't going to last forever. You know, my today won't be tomorrow. So I definitely allowed myself to lose my confidence. And I won't say, you know, I regret it, because without that part of my life, I wouldn't have become who I am now. So regardless of when we feel like we've lost something, or we don't really continue to identify with who we used to be, that doesn't mean that we're no longer us. It just means that we're now developing into another, like kind of like a cocoon. You know, we're in a cocoon, and now we're kind of developing into another beautiful butterfly that just will never die, right? We just keep getting better and better. We keep looking better and better. So that is my incidents with losing my confidence. And even after that, my children kind of helped me build that back up, because looking at my girls going through school, and one in particular, my baby girl, she came in this world obsessed with who she was. Like, she was just so strong, personality so strong. Like, she used to get in the mirror. Like, I have a picture of her, because she begged me to take this picture. And I was like, Ebony, I don't think I should take this picture. But she was in the mirror. She was probably like 3 years old. She only had on underwear, and she was like posing, you know. And so she was like, can you send this to me, Mom? They call my mom, me, Mom. And she's like, can you send this to me, Mom? Can you send this to me, Mom? And I was like, I think this is child porn, but okay. You know, but like, she loved who she was from day one. Like, she just was in love with herself. And then watching her hit middle school was breathtaking. I just couldn't believe like how she allowed other people to steal her identity, you know, and to tell her who she was, who she looked like, if she wasn't this certain size or whatever. And so that's kind of why I also started my modeling studio here in Chattanooga, because they've always been into acting. My kids are very artistic. So they love acting, you know, they love music, they do theater, they do sports. And so to watch that light kind of go dim, I was like, oh no, you know, like, I know who I'm supposed to be. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so if my girls don't see that, and I have boys too, but if my girls don't see me leading in my field, leading in my confidence, then how are they going to lead out in their own confidence? So that's definitely, it was definitely an eye opener. So that's another reason why I started doing what I do.
That's so important. I love that. So this is Masks Off, where we take off our masks and we show up real, and we show up honest and vulnerable.
Right.
And, you know, we talk about all the different masks: the people pleaser, the perfectionist, the caretaker, the victim mask, the competent mask, the mask of masculinity, the controller mask. There's so many different masks that we put on or can put on. So which ones do you think, or one have you worn in the past, or maybe still wear today?
Definitely the perfectionist mask.
Okay.
Definitely. I am so afraid of allowing people to see me mess up. And I'm not afraid to say it, because I know I struggle with it. You know, I struggle with it at work. I struggle with it at home. I struggle with it in my businesses. Like,
yeah, let's talk about it, because I'm with you. Let's talk about that.
I just don't want people to see me mess up. I just feel like if I mess up and the world sees it, then they're going to feel like I'm a fraud, or I don't know what I'm doing. You know, if I don't dot every I and cross every T, I just feel overwhelmed, and I don't know. I know how to take it off. And just like I asked you on my show, I need help with balancing to keep it off. Now, I did just release a podcast called Raw and Uncut. And that's because, you know, I'm getting into that reality of, listen, this is me, you know, no makeup, if my hair is done, if it's not done, you know, I need to feel like I'm in control, and I don't want to feel like I'm allowing the world to control me. So like we were talking about my podcast, like when I first started podcasting, there was the very first time that I missed a deadline. I could not get it out at 10 o'clock. And I was like, what is going on? I was crying. My husband was downstairs. He was trying to help me fix the equipment. And I didn't know if it was my computer. Like, I had no clue what it was. I couldn't call anybody because it was 10 o'clock at night, you know, and I couldn't call anybody over to the house. And so I just cried. I was like, oh my God, my world is over. It's ending. Oh, I remember what it was. My computer crashed. That's when I realized I had to get a new computer. And so my computer just blacked out. And I was like, what is going on? And so everything that was on my computer, I couldn't transfer over, you know, because I didn't have a chance to. But anyway, so long story short, I definitely like had a whole meltdown, a whole breakdown. And it was
What
just like,
happened? Did it all work out okay?
yes. I mean, I did finally get it uploaded like the next day. That
Yeah.
morning, I got up at like 6 or 7 o'clock that morning and uploaded it. I think my computer just needed a break from everything.
Yeah.
But and then after that, after I got that one episode uploaded, I had to take my computer to Best Buy. They were like, "Oh yeah, you know, everything that you're using, your computer's too old. You need to either update it or just get a new one." They were like, "To update it, be, you know, just as much as to get a new one." So I ended up getting a new computer, but it was very dramatic for me, or I was being very dramatic. But
So,
I just,
yeah, let's talk about that. So where do you think that came from? Like, do you remember having that same kind of feeling or a particular incident that happened when you were young? Like where does that perfectionism come from?
I don't. Only thing I can think of is modeling. Like,
Mhm.
you know, in modeling, and it's a very cutthroat industry. It really is. But like in my studio that I modeled in back in Memphis, you know, we would have, when we had shows and stuff coming up, you would always have to audition to make sure that you were what that designer wanted or the artist wanted or whatever for that show. And so I remember those moments when I didn't get picked.
Mm.
They were very devastating, very devastating. So other than that, I was always good in sports. You know, I was I'm kind of that person that I never go out for something unless I know that I can do it, right? Because
Yeah.
like I said, I don't like failure. I don't like to be made fun of. And so that probably held me back from a lot of things too. But even in jobs, like I never go out for a job unless I know for sure it's something I want to do and that I'm going to be great at. And so this has definitely been a rocky road where you kind of have to depend on things, and it's not all you know, it's the new technology, it's the new Instagram and the TikTok. And it's like, if I don't make it, I just feel like a failure. And so I think it kind of all originated from probably modeling. Now I definitely could say my mom was always a big booster. You know, she always boosted me and told me I could do this, I could do that. It was always just me and my mom and my grandmother. But it, you know, so it wasn't my mom. It was just, I guess it was just me. And I guess that's why she put me in modeling too, because she saw that timid Ebony, you know, like I never put myself out there if I didn't know I was gonna accomplish it. So
Well, so if you're comfortable, and only if you're comfortable, can we talk about that timid Ebony? Like, let's talk about her. What was it like for her? Because like, I'm wondering for me, because I also wear the perfection mask. And I remember that I had a very pivotal experience when I was 10. And like before I was 10, I felt like I was unseen, right? I felt invisible. Even in the classroom, I was quiet. I didn't cause trouble. My teachers always said, "Kim, such a pleasure to have in class," which just meant I was really quiet and didn't make any noise. And then when I was 10, this one teacher that I had said to my mom at a conference that like, "Oh, Kim is capable of doing so much more than what she's doing. I feel she has way more potential in her." And this is fifth grade. Like who does that in fifth grade? But anyway, I heard that and I started applying myself more. And then I started getting really good grades and I started getting the validation from the teacher. And I'm like, "Ooh," and then even classmates. "Oh, you got 100. Oh, I only got an 80. And it started to feel really, really good to have that external validation. And I learned at that age that if I wanted to be seen and I wanted validation, I had to perform. And then that performing became perfecting. So then I started performing in sports, and then I, ran for class president and blah, 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 and then college. So that was what defined the perfection mask for me, because before it was not okay to just be me, to just be Kim, having fun, normal 9-year-old girl playing whatever, having a good time. So I don't know. And you were saying you were timid, you were shy. I'm wondering if like you had any feelings or experiences of feeling invisible as well.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like I didn't matter. I was also the only child, if that makes a difference. So I definitely felt like I didn't matter. Yeah, I wasn't seen. I didn't talk a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends in school. And so school was really hard for me. So I kept quiet, you know. If I drew people to me, then that was fine with me. If I didn't, I didn't, you know. And being the only child, it's very easy to be alone. It's very easy to be by yourself. It's very easy to be closed off. And I still struggle with that as well now. But, you know, growing up, it was hard. But as an adult, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be around people. You know, you have those moments where I need silence, I need the lights off, I just need to meditate and come back to me. But yeah, being timid cost me definitely a lot of things. It cost me myself, I guess, kind of self-respect, I guess. Like in school, I felt like if I spoke up, then I would get talked about, you know, and Memphis is pretty rough. So I try not to talk. I try not to be seen. And then the older I got, I wanted to be seen and I never was recognized. And so, you know, my mom had my little brother when I was 16. And then I felt like I went back to that invisible Ebony, you know, because now it was no longer me and her. I was no longer her focal point. And I even told my mom, I was like, you ruined my life. Like, how could you do this to me? You know? But no, now, you know, man, I love my brother. He's great. But growing up as an only child, and I think being an only child really put me in a box. That's why I said I never had one child. But I think it kind of fed it because it was just me. You know, I never had to come out of that comfort zone. I never had to come out of my shell. But then when I went to school and I realized, oh, these people are talking, they're moving around, they're doing this and that. You know, I was definitely not an A student, so I didn't get the recognition. I tried to bond more with the teachers so that if I needed extra help, you know, I'd be like a teacher's pet. And so they were like, oh, it's Ebony, well, let me pull you to the side. Let me help you with this. Let me do this. Like I literally had a teacher that, and I don't mind sharing, like I had ADD. I had ADD and I was, I also have dyslexia. And so, dyslexic. And so, she pulled me to the side and she said, I know you know the answers. So she did a verbal test for me. Same questions. You know, I had already failed the test, but she was like, I know that you know the answers. So she literally pulled me to the side after class one day and she asked me the same questions on my test and I got them all right. And so that alone, oh my God, put me in the shell because I didn't want to read out loud. And I just made fun of them. So now, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation because now I can go back to the first question you asked me and you said, you know, what triggered that? So now I'm seeing that that's what my trigger was. Like, I knew if something happened in class and I didn't get it right, oh, they were definitely gonna make fun of me. Like I was gonna be the talk of the class for probably about a week. And, you know, I just didn't want to go through that. So I kept my mouth shut, you know, I stayed hidden. And then the older I got and I wanted to be seen, it wasn't there because I didn't know how to make myself be seen, I guess, you know?
And I don't know how it lands for you, but I almost feel like there's some connection between that experience in school and then, you know, your experience now where you said, if I can't be really good at a job or I couldn't be really good at, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like, so that is a layer of the perfection mask. If we can't do something perfectly, we're going to avoid that like the plague because we do not want to be called out for being
right.
Right.
That's so true.
Oh my God. The ego is such a trickster. It can get us, like, honestly. And I'm right there with you. I hear you on that. I mean, when I'm learning something new or doing something new, I have to get it all done perfectly like yesterday. You know, it could be like this big monumental thing, like I was sharing with you, technology or something. And I expect myself to know how to do it all like that instantly. It just doesn't work that way, you know?
No, it definitely didn't. Not technology.
It doesn't work that way, but that's the perfectionist, like saying because, you know, if it takes me a really long time, am I maybe too stupid? Am I too dumb? I'm not catching it. I'm not getting it. What's wrong with me? Like there's those underlying messages that come from that. So I find it like super interesting that you went from that space of feeling timid, of feeling like you wanted to hide and protect or hide, you wanted to hide because of the school stuff, to now, like, look at you are totally shining your light. And so you help women with self-empowerment, self-confidence, and self-love. Sometimes I feel like some of those terms can be so overloaded, right? It can mean so many different things to so many different people. So how about if we just start with one, like, what does self-love look like and feel like for you?
Being able to go outside with no makeup on. Being able to go outside when I'm having the worst hair day of my life and I can still get on my podcast and interview somebody or go live, and when I feel like I don't look the way that I should look, you know, that's definitely self-love. Being able to wear something that the society is telling me I shouldn't wear. Something that makes me feel good, but then I have to sit down and be like, oh no, society's saying I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't wear a certain color. For instance, we had to wear, I sing in the choir at church, and so we had to wear yellow. Was it yellow or orange? I think it was orange. And so, and I was like, what? And so my first response was, I am way too dark to have on all orange. Like, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I definitely did it, but it was a certain kind of orange,
Yeah.
That is self-love, like being able to do whatever you want to do and feel like I still look good, I can still rock this, or I can still get in front of people regardless if, I might not have had the money to get my hair done or my nails done, or if I don't have the perfect makeup look that everybody's wearing on Instagram. Like, that's self-love, being able to take out time to realize I'm not going to be perfect for somebody else. I have to be perfect for me. There are times where I feel like giving up everything. With my modeling studio, my clientele isn't where I want it to be, but I'm doing the best that I can do, right? I'm doing the best what I can do with my finances. I'm doing the best I can do with my time. And if it's my best, then I'm grateful for that. It's perfect. If it's my best, then it's perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect for you. It doesn't have to be the best for somebody else. It's perfect for me because this is all I can do, right? And so that's self-love. Telling yourself, listen, you don't have to give up on your dreams because society hasn't noticed you yet. It's going to happen. There's this movie, I don't know if you remember it, if you build it, they will come. Do you remember that? It was like a baseball movie.
Oh, yeah, The Field of Dreams, I think it was called.
Yes,
with Kevin Costner. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. A friend of mine told me, like, I've been wanting to open up my own modeling studio for years. And she said, Ebony, all I keep hearing is, if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. So she told me that like maybe 4 years ago. And that's what I keep telling myself over and over. It'll blow up or it won't. Or it'll just help the people that it was meant to help. And I have to be okay with that too, right? And that's self-love. All of that is self-love because I have to be okay with knowing I did 100%. I love myself for doing it. I didn't kill myself for doing it. I'm still being a mom. I'm still being a wife. Giving your 100% and being okay with that is self-love.
I love that. And I want to just also say that not only did you just describe self-love so beautifully, but you also just gave the antidote to the perfection mask, because what you said was, my best is good enough. And that is the antidote for someone who struggles with perfectionism, is to know that my best is good enough. And I hear you because I've been struggling with, this is just a very small example, but with TikTok, like I just started a month ago and I'm definitely not getting the traction that I thought that quote I should be getting. And, a friend of mine started around the same time that I did, and she's getting so much more traction, and we give similar types of messages in a similar way. And I'm like, what is wrong with, why am I not getting it? I like want to, cry. And I show up so authentically there. Like, I will show up at times. Sometimes my hair is done like it is right now, but at times I will show up on a video right after I've run. So I'm like sweaty, my hair, my gray roots are showing. And I'm like totally fine with that. And then can I even tell you that I am releasing one tonight where I literally just came out of the shower and have my hair in a towel and my robe on. And the reason that I'm doing it that way is because I got inspired when I was in the shower. So I'm like, I'm recording it right now, because if I don't, my 53-year-old brain's going to forget what I just thought about in the shower. So I'm recording it now. So I'm literally, and that also is, maybe at some point we can do another episode on this mask, or even just how it does tie into the perfection mask, is the beauty mask. And that's what you're saying, like, especially for women, there's such societal norms and conditions on beauty. I really am trying to debunk that by getting on and doing videos when, my hair is pulled up, I'm a sweaty, hot mess, my roots are showing, my grays are showing, and just still trying to own it the same way I am right now, which, by the way, my hairdresser did this today because I had to get my hair colored. So this is not my hair. For people who are on listening, won't be able to see my hair, but it was done today. So it looks nice and polished now. Thank you. Tomorrow will be a different story when I go to do it, right?
Right.
But nonetheless, it's like all of this conditioning is so important that we have these conversations and that we talk about it, so that our daughters and our, kids and their kids can start to look at it differently. Like, beauty is from the inside, and you are good enough just the way you are. And your best is good enough. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to be the smartest or this or that. You are beautiful and worthy of love and belonging just as you are. That's the message that, you're spreading, I'm spreading, and many others like us are spreading, and it's beautiful.
Right. It is. Not knowing that I was going to have this conversation with you today, like, it's really telling me a lot about me as well. Like, a lot of things we forget about throughout our days, throughout our years. And I totally forgot about my whole school upbringing. So like, it definitely opened up my eyes. But you're right. We lose ourselves so much in society, and it's crazy, so crazy. But like I was thinking about my little girl, she came out of the womb obsessed with herself. And to watch that be, taken from her, or she allowed it to be taken from her, was just heartbreaking. And so I hate that as women, we constantly do that, regardless if we're in school, on the job, at the grocery store, whatever. We're looking for money and we're like, oh, I don't like that, or oh, I'm not as polished as that, But you're absolutely right. Like, I only did one, but like, I uploaded a TikTok the other day, a few weeks ago, and I was on my way to the gym. I was in the car and I was getting ready to get out for the gym. And so I was like, I'm just going to let him do it. And so I did it. And I was like, oh, but there's a video that I was looking for last night on my podcast. I had an interview, and I don't know if it was me and you, we didn't get the link up. I think, was it me and you? It might've been someone else. Okay. So it was another podcast. We didn't get the link up. And so I had everything set up, and I just hit record, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to record myself talking. And I've never done it before. And then I thought I posted it, but I didn't. So the actual like podcast posted, but I never posted the video on my YouTube channel. So I was thinking last night, I was like, I need to just go ahead and post it. But I just hate the fact of, just looking at the camera, talking to the camera, just me and the camera. Yeah. So, but I'm going to do that tonight. I really am. But You're right. We lose it. We just lose it for some reason. We just feel like we're not good enough, and then we settle with that idea of it. And I hate that about that,
Me too. I do too. And that's why I'm so grateful that we're having this conversation, and then we just keep it going, keep reminding each other that we are, take your mask off, be like, that's what it's about, being 100% authentic, be real, and who you are underneath all those masks is worthy and good.
Right.
And good. So this is awesome. This has been a great conversation. I end all the podcasts with 5 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
French fries.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Paris.
What is your favorite way to take care of yourself?
My nails.
What's the number one thing on your bucket list if you have one?
I don't have one.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Name one book that has changed your life.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the Bible.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So I'm so glad we had this conversation. For one, I got to know you a little bit better, and I love that.
Yes.
I love connecting. It was really great, and you shared so vulnerably. So thank you so much for doing
You're
that.
welcome.
And I'm sure that someone out there can, connect with something that you said. So I'm so glad about that. Tell the listeners if they want to find you, where they can find you.
Okay, so guys, you can definitely find me on YouTube at Bosswife Podcast. You can definitely find me on my website, which is purposefulthinking360.com. And I'm on TikTok, barely.
Well, I'll get you more on there.
Right. I'm on Instagram and Facebook as well. So any platform you guys are on, I'm on.
Awesome. And I will have all that information in the show notes as well. So it'll be easy to find. So thank you again for coming on. I really appreciated it.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. So thanks everybody. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. And if you did, I would love if you subscribe or like, and I will see you next time on Masks Off.